This was the meeting point in the middle of what's billed as Argentina's Lake District. And I was the first to arrive in a magnificent Porsche 928 GT. Soon I reached the meeting point where I found James, who'd bought an XK8 convertible. Here we are, look. A big cat near an old dog. Greetings, mate.
Moron.
Yeah, and now there's a new breed of small hot hatchback. And to find which one is best, we took the grand tour to that field just over there. Yes, the start point for our test was our own track in Oxfordshire. And this is what we'd assembled. We chose for our meeting point a quaint fishing port near Inverness. And I was the first to arrive in an Alfa Romeo GTV6. Now,
The meeting point was in Wales, and I was the first to arrive in a car made from mud. But sadly, before I had the chance to tell you anything about it, Hammond arrived.
our start point was the Tuscan hilltop city of Siena, home to the most exciting horse race in the world, the Palio. It was the beginning of what would be a very fabulous and very cultured journey. But for some extraordinary reason, Richard Hammond decided that the start point should be in the middle of the night, close to the bustling city of Cartagena, on a tropical beach. I arrived in Central Park, the start point of the race that no one's been asking about. And dressed like everyone else, my rival was waiting. There he is. Since we were trying to break an amphibious speed record, the obvious starting point was here, at Huddersfield International Airport. This was the meeting point we chose. The Area 27 racetrack. It was designed by F1 star Jacques Villeneuve.
However, there is a small obstacle in the way.
Actually, it's quite a big obstacle, because my starting point is here. Death Valley. One of the most inhospitable places on Earth, boasting some of the toughest terrain a car could ever face.
The meeting point was a car park in Droitwich, and I was the first to arrive. This is a Volkswagen Golf GTI, the standard bearer, the benchmark, the daddy. And think about it, a modern day GTI would cost you £27,000. This was just 800 quid. I mean, 800 quid for a Golf GTI. It's only done 172,000 miles, and it's just 25 years old. It's now we never will, because tonight we're going to find out.
We are. Now, the starting point for our race is here, Heathrow. James and I will be catching a plane up to Newcastle and then hopping on the ferry over to Norway. It's simple.
Okay, meanwhile, I will be driving all the way around the M25 through the Channel Tunnel, France, Belgium, Holland, Germany, Denmark, which is much bigger than it looks on any map, up through Sweden and then finally to Oslo.
Yes.
But it only takes one person to flick a light switch. So to decide which one of us would actually do that, the producers organised a race to Blackpool. First one there would get their name in the history books.
Unfortunately, they decided that the starting point for this race would be in Basel, which is here in Switzerland, and that is 750 miles from the light switch.
And here's the tricky bit. They said we could only use one tank of fuel. We could fill our cars in Basel, but then the tanks would be sealed.
I thought it was a stupid idea. 750 miles on a tank. That's 750 miles of careful driving. That's not a race. It's my idea of hell.
That's my idea of heaven. Anyway, we could use any production car we liked, and we weren't allowed to modify it in any way.
The meeting point was a giant parade ground in the middle of the old capital city, Rangoon. And I was the first to arrive. I've bought a stereo. And after the slowest had turned up, we climbed into our Jags and headed for the meeting point to see how much stuff was there.
This was the meeting point. And I was the first to arrive in my 1972 MGB GT.
This is it. This.
Our meeting point was the Valley of Fire in Nevada. And what you see here is the car I'll be using. This is a Lexus LFA. It's not the most powerful car in the world, it's not the fastest, it's not the best looking, and it certainly isn't the cheapest. Plus, the Lexus badge does come with a whiff of masonry. But I drove one of these in England last year, and I emerged from the experience thinking that might very well be the best car I've ever driven.
The meeting point was the beautiful town of Lecce in the heel of Italy. And I was the first to arrive.
This is the McLaren NP4-12C.
Our meeting point was Fleet Services on the M3. And Richard was the first to arrive.
And there it is.
A year ago, we'd have been here with a Ferrari, a Lamborghini and an Aston Martin. Now,
This is it.
we had chosen as our meeting point London's financial district. So we thought it would be a good idea while we were there to introduce all the passing bankers and money men to the motoring world they'd created. What have you got now?
XJR.
An XJR. And you've got a
BMW M3.
M3
BMW X5.
X5. So welcome to the future, your future. Amazingly, the tip paid off, and I was the first to arrive at our pre-arranged meeting point. The Miami Highlight Stadium. This is a Chevrolet Camaro, the RS model. 5-litre V8 engine, 5-speed gearbox, rear-wheel drive, a full-on American muscle car. Only 3 previous murderers, and I only paid $800 for it.
The Bugatti Veyron. The Concorde of the road. The meeting point for the most amazing collection of numbers. £1 million, 1,000 horsepower, and a top speed of 252 miles an hour.
God almighty, I'm riding along with the headlight illuminating nothing but my own face.
Our meeting point was a restaurant in Delat, and James had worked up quite an appetite by the time he got there.
Our meeting point was Millbrook in Bedfordshire, the biggest and most daunting test track in Britain. Its 2-mile banked circuit, its rough roads and its formidable alpine handling track are designed to test brand new cars to destruction. So what kind of havoc will they wreak on our 1,500 quid bangers?